May I request Shri Anand Singhi, Chief Retail and Government Business, ICICI Lombard General Insurance Company Limited, Shri Namit Bajoria, President MCCI, and Shri Rahul Agarwal, Chairman Council on Insurance, MCCI, to please join the dais. Dr. Parimal Merchant, Director Global Family Managed Business Program, SP Jain School of Global Management, will join shortly. Distinguished dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. On behalf of the Merchants Chamber of Commerce and Industry, we extend a warm welcome to you all at this MCCI Insurance Conclave on the theme Insurance for Family Businesses, Past, Present and Future. Thank you so much for your presence. May I now request President MCCI Shri Namit Bajoria to kindly deliver the welcome address, please.
Shri Anand Singhi, Chief Retail and Government Business, ICCI Lombard General Insurance Company Limited. Dr. Parimal Merchant, who is supposed to join in a few minutes, Director Globally Family Managed Business Program, SP Jain School of Global Management. Srimati Kasturi Sengupta, of the dais, General Manager, National Insurance Company Limited. Sri Dulal Mitro, Chairman, Ideal Insurance, and my friend Rahul Agarwal, Chairman, Council on Insurance. Distinguished members from the Chamber, friends from media, a very good evening. We are extremely privileged to have some key experts from the insurance industry amongst us this evening, and I'm sure their rich insights would adequately enlighten us on today's topic, Insurance for Family Business, Past, Present and Future. India's insurance industry is one of the premium sectors experiencing positive growth. In 2022, India was ranked the 10th largest insurance market in the world with a premium volume of around $131 billion, with a 1.9% share in global insurance premiums, and is projected to become the 6th largest by 2032. The growth outlook for India is based on strong economic growth, rising disposable income, a young population, increased risk awareness, digital penetration, and regulatory developments. FDI policy also has helped the sector to receive around 54,000 crores in FDI during the 9 years and increased the number of insurance companies to 70 as of January 2024. The insurance industry has undergone numerous transformations since 2022 in terms of new developments, modified regulations, and proposals for amendments. These developments have opened new avenues of growth for the industry while ensuring that insurers stay relevant with changing times and the latest digital disruptions. The insurance industry in India has witnessed an impressive growth over the last 2 decades, driven by greater private sector participation and an improvement in distribution capabilities, along with substantial improvements in operational efficiencies. Reports indicate that the health insurance segment has emerged as the primary growth driver, breaching the 1 trillion mark in premiums and achieving a growth of around 20% in FY24. Motor insurance occupying 50% of the pie in the non-life insurance industry, excluding health, has recorded a steady growth of 12.9% in FY24 and exceeded Rs 90,000 crores. However, the insurance sector is facing headwinds from declining liability, crop insurance and credit guarantee sectors. The marine and fire insurance segments also reported subdued growth compared to previous years. Despite the sectoral challenges, industry experts project that the insurance sector would grow by 13 to 15% in the medium term, primarily driven by health and motor insurance segments. Also, there is no doubt that technology will aid in enhancing the growth of the insurance sector. Today, insurance providers, along with the other stakeholders of the ecosystem, are making well thought out investments in leveraging technology to drive better customer experience, faster closure of claims, and ease of buying insurance policies. Insurance companies have launched mobile apps for providing round-the-clock support to customers and tools that allow for better and swifter engagement with the company. With the use of chatbots and AI, insurance companies can provide support to their customers, agents, and other third-party service providers. With the customer data being collected, the accuracy of the data is helping companies understand market dynamics better and launch more user-friendly products with easy premium options. Additionally, the acceptance of tech by insurance companies has also given rise to many new startups in the fintech space which have already attained unicorn status. The adoption of tech, including IoT, robotic process automation, advanced analytics, AI, and blockchain, to name a few, is having a far-reaching effect on established businesses and giving birth to new business models and potentially sustainable, scalable business ideas. As per S&P Global Market Intelligence data, India is the second largest insurance technology market in Asia Pacific, accounting for 35% of the US $3.66 billion insurtech focused ventures investors made in this country. Before I conclude, I would like to mention that the future looks promising for the insurance sector in India. The Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority India is vigilant and progressive and is determined to achieve its mission of insurance for all by 2047, with aggressive plans to address the industry's challenges. Despite the intensified competition, global geopolitical uncertainties, and inflationary pressure that pose challenge to the growth trajectory, factors like GDP growth, favorable monsoon, and further regulatory initiatives are expected to accelerate this growth. The growing middle class, young insurable population with an increasing awareness of the need for protection and retirement planning will support the growth of insurance sector in India. Thank you so much.
Thank you, President. May I now request Shri Rahul Agarwal, Chairman, Council on Insurance, to kindly deliver the theme address, please.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. So I have a few questions to ask the audience. Okay. Now I'm sure everyone, insurance is not exactly a very interesting subject. Okay, but it's an unavoidable subject. So how many of you pay any kind of premium here? और यहाँ किसको प्रीमियम देना अच्छा लगता है? हाँ? So yes. But claim के लिए कोई प्रीमियम नहीं देता है, right? Tell me another question. How many of you make investments or do any kind of saving? कोई एक ऐसा प्रोडक्ट बताइए जिसमें आप 10,000 दें और आप 10 करोड़ निकाल सकें 6 महीने में legally, right? So insurance is that product. Now why I'm saying investment is yes, claim मिल जाएगा उसके लिए आज बहुत जन है सर. नहीं यार, देखिए हम लोग वो क्लेम के लिए हमारे पास आज बहुत अच्छे अरे सर अभी let's get back. So when we are taking an insurance, we are investing in the safety of our business, right? That's a big investment that we make, right? Whether we like it, we don't like it. In our bad times, okay, insurance is the only product which can save us. And I have seen families go bust, I have seen businesses go bust, right? And we see it even today just because they didn't have a proper insurance, just because the owner didn't feel the importance of paying that extra money, just because कि accountant ने एक mistake कर दिया, or maybe there was no support from insurance company, whatever, right? So insurance is, we like it or not, it's very essential in our day-to-day life and businesses. And that was a thought of doing this program, so where we can create some more knowledge, with people, especially the MCCI members, the fraternity, on what is the right way ahead, what are the challenges happening in the industry, and how we can cover ourselves properly, right? And it's a very dynamic industry. Another perspective is insurance is already a huge industry and it is going to be a humongous industry. Okay. मेरे को questions पूछना बहुत अच्छा लगता है. So one question again to the audience. So Namit Bhaiya said there are about 70 insurance companies in India. Any guess on how many insurance companies are there in US? 6,000. Okay, clap for the gentleman. 6,000 insurance companies, right? So that's how big the insurance market is. We are about a $200 billion market, 250. US is 8 times $1.6 trillion market. So that's the kind of growth which is going to happen in India. And IDA is very strongly pushing growth in the industry. Now that growth will not only bring business to the insurance companies or the intermediaries, that growth will also bring business to every business person in some way or other. So you can also look insurance as an opportunity. It can be opportunity for real estate people. It can be an opportunity for the healthcare industry, right? And so there, it can be opportunity for HR firms. So every industry is affected by this. Okay, so you can also look at it how you can capitalize on this industry. So there are many facets of insurance, and we have some wonderful people. Thank you, Anand Bhai, for flying down all the way from Bombay. Kasturi ma'am, Dulal sir, for we have some lovely panelists, and we'll try to get some more knowledge. And please, we are power-packed people here with great knowledge. So any queries, any problems you have faced, let's throw on them. All the people who are very unhappy with their claims, so please throw it on them, okay, on how we can improve in future. So with this, thank you so much, and over to the next program.
Thank you so much, Chairman. May I now request Shri Anand Singhi, Chief Retail and Government Business, ICICI Lombard General Insurance Company Limited, to kindly deliver his address.
Good evening, everyone. I think the audience is still sleeping. Good evening, everyone. वैसे मैंने अभी परमल जी को और उनको राहुल भाई को बोला कि भाई आपके बोलने के बाद में बहुत कुछ बोलने के लिए रह नहीं गया है. Actually, he read out everything what is happening in everything which is happening in context of insurance. Rahul bhai, thank you so much for having me here with this brilliant power pack audience, right? And I'm sure that I'm going to have an interesting time over the next hour or so in terms of presenting our views in terms of where insurance is, why it's important, and so on, as well as to be able to hear from you in terms of your perceptions, feedback about insurance, and go about kind of responding to some of those things, right? Before I speak a little bit, right, a small bit of trivia, and this is when specifically Rahul bhai said that, okay, you have to be here. MCCI का forum है, तो मेरे को तो कुछ तो पहले समझ में नहीं आया. बोला what is this all about? Honestly, being part in the insurance company, I had not participated in any one of these forums earlier. So then I tried to kind of really Google out a little few sort of things, because उन्होंने एकदम categorically मना कर दिया था. बोले आपके लिए suspense है, surprise है. So don't do any bit of preparation, right? तो मैं बोला ठीक है, कोई preparation नहीं है. तो आपके लिए एक trivia है. Basically MCCI, when was MCCI formed? And Rahul bhai is going to really give out great set of gifts for it. Now this is the most power pack chamber, right? It's with people from different sort of backgrounds connected together as a larger part of community involved into business. This community has been in existence since when? 1901. Huh? Yeah. 1901, right? चलिए ये चीज़ तो लिखी हुई है. 1901 में इसको बोलते क्या थे MCCI को? नहीं सर, मर्चेंट चैम्बर नहीं बोलते थे. एंड यहाँ पे हम नहीं बात करेंगे, राइट? सो आप ये बताइए, मतलब इसके लिए बहुत ही बढ़िया गिफ्ट है. पॉसिबली राहुल भाई विल काइंड ऑफ रियली मेक द इंश्योरेंस फ्री फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर इंडिविजुअल हु इज रियली गोइंग टू रिस्पॉन्ड टू इट. और नहीं हुआ तो भाई आप उनके साथ में बिजनेस प्लेस करिएगा अगर आपने नहीं आंसर दिया तो. सो एनी आइडिया व्हाट MCCI वाज कॉल्ड इन 1901? इस साइड से एनी आइडिया? Oriental Chamber of Commerce. Okay, from this side we have at least one response from this side. Anyone? चलिए तो मैं बताता हूँ. नहीं, चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स नहीं बोलता था. 1901 में इसको वैश्य मित्र सभा बोलते थे. वैश्य मित्र सभा, VMS, right? That was how MCCI was formed. And when was MCCI as a name, which is Merchant Chambers Commerce for Industry, for Commerce and Industry, ये नाम कब दिया गया? This was very not too far, but I think close to 4 years back when it was given. And in this journey, from 1901 to today 2024, the body has been renamed 4 times, the latest being MCCI. So chalo, not being part of this, there is little bit of addition I can let all of you know, and it was fascinating to read how the body was formed pre-independence, and from there onwards till now, how the body has worked on various aspects of trade, right? To kind of bring the entire set of community together. Most important, create a voice which would have been heard across the ecosystem, so that relevant set of measures which would be required to uplift the body, to uplift the trade in the community, was done at the best level. And I will so believe now that if there are voices which are in context of insurance is a very, very inclusive, critical subject for individuals, for trade bodies, for economy collectively. And I'm sure that if there are any sort of voices which have to come through, they should come through, so that if there are relevant feedbacks which we can know and we can work upon, we'll be more than happy to do it. Rather than talking, right, because I genuinely believe it can get a little boring, and I'm sure that some of us will go back on our mobile phones to see what's happening latest on either Insta or LinkedIn. What I've tried to do is put in a few set of slides, possibly hold your attention in terms of what insurance is all about, right? Where is the industry right now? And what are the set of dynamic changes which are happening in the industry and which can happen now from here on? Before I start the deck, all what I can tell you is whatever has happened in the last, let's say, 20 years of privatization in the insurance sector, 20 plus years of privatization in the insurance sector, right? It will feel very, very small as compared to what's going to happen in the next 5 years. Kasturi ma'am is here and she's like, we'll all love to learn more and more from her. But as we speak, and if all of you have been following the news, the latest Bima Vistar product construct has been launched today, and it's a very, very interesting construct, not because of the coverages which is going there, but for one very important item which has come across is how now parametric insurance is going to be at the core of the insurance solutions which the country is going to see through. This is just a start, and there is much more which is going to happen through. I'll talk in a few slides about where the industry is, and possibly take some bit of questions from you in terms of how you feel this is moving ahead and how this should move ahead in days ahead. Yeah. Do we have a deck? Play the deck. I'll try to keep a tab on the time. We've got like 10 minutes. Oh, there, this one. Here was next. Okay. So, Karan, yeah. So, if we look across at the journey of general insurance industry and why the general insurance industry is very, very relevant for all of you, given the fact that insurance will also comprise of life insurance, but why general insurance industry specifically for trade communities, for all bodies, very critical, because beyond us, right, it also ensures that the assets are kind of significantly insured and secured, and hence general insurance becomes a very critical component. 2000 is the year when privatization has happened, and since then a whole host of changes, whole host of regulation enablements have been passed in the industry, which has helped the industry kind of significantly grow from the point it was. If you see just the horizontal axis right at the bottom, we are now very, very close to 300,000 crores of premium. 3 lakh crore premium ki insurance industry ho gayi. We are very close there, 10,000 crores away, and we are expected to double the industry far faster as compared to how we have doubled in the previous set of era. But few moments which have been very defining moments for the industry, right? If you see through post-privatization, one of the moments which happened in 2007, which was de-tarification, right? And de-tarification was where, and I had a very interesting conversation with some of our partners before, is where how do you really end up deciding price points? How do you really end up defining policy wordings? How do you really end up defining and creating structures which are more pro-consumers? Is the founding block of that particular set of objective, right? And the industry had to go through its own set of churns in terms of stabilizing post de-tarification, because obviously you see premiums dropping down and honestly getting the right premium curve which is relevant for you to be operationally profitable at that particular level. In 2008 is when FDI changes were kind of brought in the insurance industry. And at every point in time when capital regulations have been significantly designed pro industry, it has been done with an objective that we are able to strengthen the insurance franchise in the country to a different set of level altogether, right? So that's where the government also kind of proactively acted, enabled FDI changes to be able for the industry to go through. One of the very interesting mandates or the regulatory changes which came through was in year 2016, where we must see through that we have always heard about agency being very, very critical. But the challenge of larger set of companies was that, okay, how do you really reach out to agents, and okay, how do you also create them in multiplier impact at a different point? And that's where the role of distribution ecosystem was identified. Brokers were identified as a key set of enabler, so as to kind of really take distribution to down to hinterland, down to all the set of areas where we can kind of build out insurance. And there is where the POSP regulations were kind of brought across and action, where the brokers also started to kind of get actively involved into the retail insurance business. And thereafter a few more, given the fact that I represent Lombard, one item Lombard ka lena zaruri tha, right? So Lombard listing a very, very critical point in the entire phase, because that's set to a different level of governance standards, different level of transparency. And post we got listed, there are a whole host of things. The way we have been able to kind of put through our disclosures is enabling the industry in a big enough way, right? And I'll skip a few items out there, but coming to the last point, which is extremely critical, is that now as we speak, since April 1st of 2024, there's a full denotification of policy wordings which have been enabled. What does this mean? This means that gone will be the days from here on where we have fixed format, pre-designed policy wordings, and irrespective of the fact whether you like it or don't like it, you had to trade in that. Now it's the time which is going to come through where we are going to realize that policy wordings or policy structures are going to be designed to what is apt for the consumer, right? So if you are buying insurance and if you don't want certain elements, you will not be loaded with those certain set of elements when you want to buy insurance. छोटा इसे एग्जाम्पल देता हूँ. आज के दिन में आपके बिजनेस के लिए आपको एक प्रॉपर्टी इंश्योरेंस कवर लेना है विच इज़ ओनली लिंक्ड टू कैटास्ट्रॉफी. Today you cannot do that. You have to go through the standard set of wordings and kind of take different quotes from different set of people and then select one insurance company to do that. कल ये enablement आ जाएगा, so that if you want only a cover which is linked to catastrophe, it will come across. आज के दिन में if you want to, let's say you have ability to pay for long term, but can you pay? The answer is no. Tomorrow the world is going to really, and the country is going to move in that fashion, that you will have long-term products come across. Another element which is being discussed significantly, right, is what happens to embedded service solutions. That's being debated in a large way in the industry, is that along with the core, which is protecting the risk, are there elements which can mitigate the risk? And can those elements be made part of insurance structure altogether? That's something which is going to really unfold very, very soon. So what we are going to really see, and that's the reason why I said that whatever has happened in the last 20 years, right, I think more than that is going to happen in the next 5. That's the amount of disruption which this industry is going to see through. And we have to brace for it, because why we say we brace for it is because कभी भी कुछ ऐसी चीज़ होती है तो volatility के साथ में बाद में शांति आती है. And that is where the real moment of truth would arrive, that yes, now we are looking across at insurance as a construct where we don't need to debate that, yeah, it's a push product category, right? Some agents, some brokers, some partners are just coming and pushing it, whether my banks, whether my agents, but it will be more pull based. So the moment we are able to really have the entire economy and the people and the participants in the economy move insurance from a push based construct to a pull based construct, I think that's the real moment of truth we all are waiting for, and that's the moment of truth for which the entire industry is working together. Quickly moving ahead, not boring you enough, almost 300,000 crores of insurance industry. Close to 50% of the business happens in retail lines of product, close to 35% happens in commercial line of products, which includes our SME, MSME insurance and so on. And the balance 15% is more aligned towards the government insurance. How the industry is moving ahead, as years have progressed, and we are very, very basically supportive of the fact that what the public sector insurance companies have built over the years, the amount of intellect, the amount of technical expertise which they have carried has significantly helped the private general insurance companies significantly grow out. But what has happened is, given the fact that there were these numerous licenses on the private general insurance companies which were rolled out, I think capabilities were built in the economy, capabilities were built in the country. And with those set of capabilities now, there is a moment of truth which is being assigned to the amount of experience which you give. And the experience is nothing but for the claims. That आप इसीलिए ले रहे हो ना इंश्योरेंस की, कभी अनसर्टेनिटी, कभी इस मोमेंट में अगर कुछ क्लेम आ जाए, you should not be kind of deprived of any other things which you would want to enjoy in life, A. And B, also you don't want to really be pushed on the negative side of your per capita structures, which as a larger cohort we would see through. And that's where insurance becomes more and more inclusive. That's where we see the government pushing insurance as a more inclusive agenda. Just यहाँ पे एक छोटा सा pause. On an average, do people have health insurance here? Yeah, we still don't have 40%, 50% people having health insurance here, but I'm happy that 50% have it. On an average, I'll just take two sum insured bands and just help me raise your hand that हमारे पास में कितना sum insured का health insurance है. How many of you would be having your own retail policy within less than 5 lakh rupees of sum insured? कि हमारे पास में sum insured 5 lakh रुपए का sum insured है? None? We have a few guys with 5 lakh. How many have it in the range of 3 lakh rupees of sum insured? Hardly anyone. How many of you have your sum insured at 10 lakh rupees? Quite a few of you, right? And how many of you have like 50 lakh rupees sum insured? A few of you here. General average in the economy, general average in the insurance industry, right, in the retail format, has health insurance at less than 10 lakh rupees sum insured. Average hovering around between 5 and 7.5 lakh. Right? ये 2 साल पहले हम करते तो हमको 5 लाख के नीचे का sum insured की बात होती. Do you know that there is an enablement, there is a conversation which is happening that now for the people at the bottom of the pyramid, where insurance is more inclusive and provided by the government, what will be the revised sum insured at the bottom of the pyramid, which the government is going to provide for? 10 lakh rupiya. Imagine. I mean, the days are here when we are talking that right at bottom of the pyramid, we'll have minimum guarantee of 10 lakh rupees of sum insured for people who are below poverty line. And here possibly have the most affluent sort of people, and we are still kind of really not reaching that range band, right? We have few of you below that, few of you above that. But that's directly related to how we are consuming the whole concept of insurance and why insurance. And these are the notions which we'll have to go through. But very clearly, and any bit of education we do through, any bit of studies we do through, right, we'll realize that the moment economies start to move from developing to the developed state, you will find an auto acceptance on a pull mode on insurance coming through. So that's the power of insurance sector, and that's how the insurance sector is seen as one of the most contributing sector to the largest set of economy. We heard Rahul Bhai spoke about how various products are behaving. A quick chart for all of you. Over the years, what has happened, given the fact that we are seeing medical inflation, given the fact that we are seeing health as a very important subject, and specifically post-COVID, we have realized the importance of health insurance. In the last few years, health insurance as a block together, which is a comprising of combo of the corporate insurance as well as the retail insurance, is now the largest block in the insurance space. 30% of the revenues get contributed by motor insurance, and the balance is split between commercial line and the government insurance. Right? Interesting slide in terms of recent regulations, and the last slide possibly if you're getting bored on context on data fronts, right? Few critical things which all of you should know. EUM guidelines have come through, which means that there will be more flexibility in the way people would want to build distribution channels, pay for commissions for the distribution channel, and still to go about with their own sort of business. KYC norms have become mandatory. It's extremely critical, like banking industry, the insurance industry needs to know their customers. The distributors will need to know their customers, right? And there is whole lot of engagement, digital engagement, which is being planned around that. One of the most important changes which has happened in the industry, which has happened in the new chairman's regime, is the whole file and use guidelines have moved to use and file, which means there is more flexibility, more agility with insurance companies now to create the right set of products. And now with denotification of guidelines coming through, I think we are going to really see this as a significant supportive item which is going to take the industry forward. Last not the least is the de-tarification which you have spoken about. And while we were having some bit of conversation with our partners, my genuine set of request is that the body should also kind of really consolidate the feedback in terms of what all of you feel should be there as a part of your insurance policy. And this is where I think the body, once the feedback is aggregated, we can converse with the insurance company so as to say that, okay, what should be there and not there part of the insurance structures, right? Having said that, quickly moving into the SME landscape, right, where we will go about kind of dwelling about what insurance is and what insurance can do. If we take a quick look at the MSMEs in the country, we have almost 6.3 crores MSMEs in the country, and you will not believe that of that aggregate set of number, 85%. Trust me guys, this is the data which we have scanned multiple set of times. 85% of the SMEs and MSMEs are not insured in the country. And we have a genuine reason to believe that the balance 15% where they are kind of really there on the entire set of coverage or not. And that's a very, very starking data point. This data point also gives a lot of hope that if you do things in the right way, you have a whole host of buyers who are kind of looking over, who are there on the fences, looking for the right set of people to converse about the right set of product. Why MSME and SME is very critical in the industry? Almost close to 30% of the GDP is contributed by this set of sector. And we see almost 36% in trading, 31% in manufacturing. So trading and manufacturing put together is the largest set of block in this particular aspect, right? And there are few states which contribute very, very significantly in this bit of journey. Once we look across at insurance, right, and aspects of what all insurance we should look across, and for your businesses as well as your set of partners, you should think through very, very deeply whether we have coverage on the relevant aspects. We know about property insurance, liabilities, export insurance, which is to do with marine. Emerging risk, I think this is very interesting, the way cyber protection is kind of moving across. Cyber risk, the way it is evolving. And all studies uniformly present one simple picture that India as a market has got the highest threat of cyber risk. And that highest threat of cyber risk always starts top down, where I think the larger block of players will be attacked first, and gradually it will start to kind of really seep in the larger set of ecosystem. Are we prepared with the right set of protection tools on cyber risk is a question we need to ask ourselves. Also, we need to converse with our partners in the insurance company that what are the right set of products which are designed to take care of that, right? And at the end of it, right, is how do we really also take care that in case if you're going to have losses in our standard business set of scenarios, do we have really loss of profit covers which are coming through? So a whole host of features which are there, and I would request each one of you that as you kind of move ahead with your businesses, you should have a very, very comprehensive framework so as to kind of decide whether you have the necessary ticks on the right set of insurance risk which should be covered. I would genuinely recommend that don't go buy. I think what is only advice to you, right, कि आपके accountant या finance team या HR team ने किसी ने बोला है कि ये चीज़ ले लेते हैं. Please do a holistic evaluation that all potential kind of risk which can kind of hit you, are you kind of absolutely insured for it? Why? Again, this is a critical response to that. Just the context, a small example. We had 5 natural catastrophe events, right, from 2020. 5 ऐसे events हुए थे. In most of them were cyclones and so on and so forth, right? In those 5 events, we had 1500 billion of losses, almost close to Indian rupee में 15,000 crore के economic losses थे. Those losses में से आप समझिए उन 1500 बिलियन के losses में इंश्योरेंस ने इवेंचुअली कितना कवर किया? 90 बिलियन. 90 billion only. So the difference between the economic loss and the difference between the insured loss is a starking 93%. What does this mean? That either we are not buying insurance, or if we are buying insurance, then we are not possibly buying the entire coverage which you should buy through. This is a very important data point. जब तक हिट नहीं करता है तब तक समझ नहीं आता है, बट हम देखते हैं ये हमेशा. और there are a couple of examples which I will demonstrate on why it is kind of looking like that, and I would only request again that in your larger set of governance framework, please have these things being questioned. This is core to your business. This is not secondary to your business. You're building a business out of your own set of money, out of own set of capital. It's important that along with the path to growth, you first have ensured that the core is kind of secured, right? And now, what is that you do with insurance companies, right? I think there are three core things which you can do when you kind of partner with insurance companies. Mitigate. It's not only about stating that I have a particular risk, in case if there is a claim, the insurance company claims with the claim. How do you mitigate your risk? Being owners of your own sort of business, it's very, very important for you to define कि रिस्क आ सकता है, बट रिस्क को बचाने के भी कुछ तरीके हैं क्या हमारे पास में? इज देयर सम वर्क व्हिच इज हैपनिंग इन द इकोनॉमी ऑन दैट, राइट? मैनेज, हाउ डू यू रियली मैनेज योर बिजनेस वेल, एंड आई विल टॉक अबाउट इट, दैट आप क्या कर सकते हो विथ योर इंश्योरेंस पार्टनर्स, विथ योर इंश्योरेंस कंपनीज टू मैनेज योर बिजनेस इवन वेल. एंड आप शायद सोच रहे हो यार इंश्योरेंस कंपनी हमें कैसे बताएगी आके, राइट? हमारे धंधे को हम चलाना जानते हैं, आप कैसे बताओगे? वील शो अ फ्यू सेट ऑफ एग्जाम्पल्स बिकॉज वी आर इक्वली इन्वेस्टेड in you and these industries in which you kind of really operate. And then, okay, how do you really go about reinstating the aggregate sort of value so that you are completely covered always? Risk mitigation में हम आपको दो example में खाली बताना चाहता हूँ, right? There was a project which we had undertaken where we had used drones to do inspections, right? We did inspection of close to 432 blades, and we realized that of those 432 blades, in 144 windmills, right, we observed that there were 2000 defects. 2000 defects जिसमें 800 high impact defects थे. Now when we did this bit of study and when we went back to the insured, right, कि भाई while we want to insure, but this is something which you should be knowing very clearly. शायद आपने वो ड्रोन टेक्नोलॉजी को यूज़ ही नहीं किया. Not limiting there, but we have also used the drone technology to kind of really figure out, even in the solar panels, right? Ki solar panels and solar industry is obviously renewables is kind of really becoming a very large industry in itself, right? How can you kind of really inspect those sort of risks? So when you partner with your insurance partners as well as insurance companies, there are a whole host of technological advancements which have happened, enabling you to mitigate your risk very, very sharply, right? Coming across to risk management, we also spoke about risk management, and these are some examples I'm just throwing to the audience, right? Risk management में IoT, right? We all have spoken about technology, we have heard about IoT, right? Our chairman spoke about IoT in a little bit, but IoT का use case क्या है? आप टेक्नोलॉजी बोलते हो, टेक्नोलॉजी का हमारे लिए फ़ायदा क्या है? So there are solutions like deeper insights, tracking, enablement, etc., which is being done. Early warning indication. You'll not believe the amount of nudges, the amount of triggers which we send to our insureds every monsoon season. We are reading data via satellite images, we are reading data via historical data trends, and we are very, very closely tracking paths, including paths of cyclone, how they are progressing, etc. What is the wind, what is the landfall date, etc., which is going to come through, and keep giving these signals to our set of partners that you need to be careful because this event is really going to come through. Now what I meant IoT based solutions, जो मैंने आपको बोला था IoT based solutions है, we have these GPS based logistics solutions which we have implemented at a whole host of our partners as well as customers, where बहुत समय हम challenge क्या देखते हैं कि भाई हमारा माल जा रहा है, right, but बीच में माल चोरी हो जा रहा है, या बीच में कोई accident हो जा रहा है, या बीच में something happens and there is a loss, and then we keep thinking यार कि loss हो गया, now how do we really claim about it? Proactively, insurance companies have started to work with their partners and customers so as to say that, okay, what kind of risk management solutions you can implement. And just to give you this whole GPS based logistics solution which was implemented, unknowingly अगर वो कार्गो के डोर का कोई दरवाज़ा खोलेगा, कोई गलत बात कर रहा है, वॉइस रिकॉर्डिंग्स, गलत टाइम पे गाड़ी को रोक रहा है, गलत टाइम को गाड़ी पे ज़्यादा समय के लिए रोक रहा है, I mean all these patterns today we track on real time basis. And we have systems which create the red flags and alerts on an ongoing basis, right? And we have teams. With the moment, let's say for instance, मेरी गाड़ी कलकत्ता से बॉम्बे के लिए निकली है, and कलकत्ता से बॉम्बे के लिए निकली और अगर गुजरात होके जा रही है, right? वहाँ पे आप कहीं पे कोई ऐसा स्पॉट होगा जिसमें टिपिकली चोरी होती है. उस स्पॉट पे अगर गाड़ी रुक गई for a time period which is more than the normal waiting period, we today can create real-time alarms. And guys, I cannot tell you how many cases we have been able to avert some negative set of situations which have come through. This is what we meant by risk management solutions. Satellite based climate risk management solutions, I spoke about it. How could you do NatCat warnings that catastrophe हो सकती है, इस area में हो सकती है, we can pin down to the particular pin code in which there could be massive set of impact which can come through. We do exposures mapping and then kind of convey back to our customers that आप यहाँ पे इस चीज़ की सावधानी रखिए या फिर ये चीज़ें करिए जिससे the way you will be able to kind of build out your things in a better way, right? Now if you look across, I think cost क्या है? छोटा सा एग्जाम्पल लेते हैं आज टिपिकली असेट एंड दीज आर लार्जर, दीज आर लाइक मोर कॉन्जर्वेटिव वैल्यूज इफ आई पुट अक्रॉस 10 करोड़ तक का असेट को आज अगर हम इंश्योर करने जाते हैं तुम्हारा प्रीमियम 1 लाख रुपए के नीचे होता है, कुछ केसेस में तो शायद 40,000 50,000 रुपये में भी हो जाता है. व्हाट इज़ द कॉस्ट ऑफ इंश्योरिंग दैट? इट्स हार्डली पीनट्स टुडे फॉर पेइंग सच ए स्मॉल अमाउंट. आज हमारे लिए मैं बता रहा हूँ ना, मतलब कैलकाटा में वो टर्म यूज़ करते हैं, हम इतनी माथाफोड़ी करते हैं कि भाई उस चीज़ के लिए, और बाहर में जाके हम किसी अच्छे रेस्टोरेंट में उससे ज़्यादा कम शायद उसी रात को हम डिनर कर लेंगे. बट देन व्हेन इट कम्स टू रियली से दैट ओके एम आई बाइंग द राइट कवर फॉर द रिस्क विच कैन पोटेंशियली हिट मी एंड derail my life, we start to think multiple times about that, right? So it's important to realize that specifically in the SME MSME space, right, the cost of insurance today is nothing as compared to the global set of benchmarks. How it helps now, I think last 2 slides, how it helps. एक छोटा सा एग्जाम्पल देता हूँ, हमारा एग्जाम्पल आपको दे रहा हूँ. कैलकाटा के अंदर में फुटवेयर इंडस्ट्री थी, वैल्यू एट रिस्क 6.5 करोड़ का था ऑलमोस्ट, उन्होंने 6.5 करोड़ का इंश्योर किया. द फैक्ट्री, द होल प्रीमाइज गॉट गटेड अक्रॉस. वी रियलाइज द कॉस्ट, द क्लेम कॉम्पिटिशन वॉज कमिंग टू 5 crore, 5 crores paid out. There is a guy who did his full governance, who did a full check, realized what should be the cover I should buy, paid for the premium, got the full claim. No hassles at all, right? Including some real-time advance payments. Another example, right? In Chennai, there is a pharmaceutical, if I'm not wrong, this is an educational institute, right? This is an educational institute. Value at risk 11 crores. Over smart, right? We will save some bit of money, show a better P&L right now for the month, for the year, and हम उसको दिखा के we are very very happy, show that okay we have done great set of negotiation. 1.5 करोड़ के इंश्योरेंस लिए. वॉट एवर लॉजिक्स, राइट? आज लॉजिक्स हम सब बना सकते हैं. 1.5 करोड़ के इंश्योरेंस लिए, क्लेम आता है, साइक्लोन आता है, वी गिव एडवांस वार्निंग्स, नथिंग कैन बी डन, फ्लडिंग होता है, दिस लॉट ऑफ डैमेज. 55 लाख रुपया का क्लेम कंपटीशन हुआ. इवेंचुअली वॉट गॉट पेड 3.5 lakh बिकॉज कैटेगरिकली अंडर इंश्योरेंस एज अ क्लॉज गॉट ट्रिगर्ड. So imagine here is the case where for paying a very small amount, you got the entire 6.5 crore of claim. You did not need to worry about what's going to happen with your life. Reinstate your factory, redo whatever you had to do and get along with life. Insurance is there at the back of you to kind of completely protect you. And here's a case where we all became extra smart, right? Try to see that, okay, why should I pay for the entire coverage? Let me take a smaller coverage. That's my loss assessment of what the maximum loss which can hit through. And when you have a loss, you have a bad impact. And I'm sure that nothing, हम बोलते हैं ना इन्वेस्टमेंट्स करते हैं, कोई भी इन्वेस्टमेंट में ऐसे रिटर्न्स जो है नहीं आते हैं. और ये रिटर्न की चीज़ ही नहीं है, ये रिटर्न को प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए चीज़ है. क्योंकि आज उस पर्टिकुलर एंटिटी ने अपने 50 लाख रुपए के इन्वेस्टमेंट्स को तोड़ दिया होगा टू रीबिल्ड इटसेल्फ. इमेजिन द कंपाउंडिंग लॉस विच इट इज़ नाउ सफरिंग बिकॉज इट डिडंट टेक द राइट अमाउंट ऑफ इंश्योरेंस. एज एन इंडस्ट्री मोर देन 100,000 crores, 1 लाख करोड़ के ऊपर के क्लेम्स हमने दिए हैं लास्ट ईयर, लाइक मोर देन 100,000 crores. 1 लाख करोड़ के क्लेम में प्रॉपर्टी में ऑलमोस्ट 25,000 करोड़ के क्लेम. कमर्शियल मोटर ऑटोमोबाइल इंडस्ट्री में मतलब वी हैव सीन 60,000 crores ऑफ क्लेम. मरीन एंड लाइबिलिटी 12,000 crores ऑफ क्लेम. अगेन अ स्मॉल बिट ऑफ इनसाइट, वी ऑल गेट चैलेंज्ड एट एवरी पॉइंट इन टाइम. यार तुम लोग प्रॉफिट बना रहे हो क्या, सही तरीके से कर रहे हो क्या? इफ़ यू लुक अक्रॉस एट द एग्रीगेट बैलेंस शीट of all insurance companies put together, you know what's the average combined ratio at which the industry is operating? Anywhere between, ma'am, you can correct me, anywhere between 108 to 112%. Which means on every $100 of premium, the insurance companies are losing close to $10 of premium, in spite of an investment pool. So, what? And still we have a view, right? We have a view that क्लेम्स मिलते हैं, क्लेम्स नहीं मिलते हैं. ट्रस्ट मी गाइस, इससे ज़्यादा ट्रांजैक्शन हेवी इंडस्ट्री है ही नहीं. द अमाउंट ऑफ क्लेम्स विच अ पर्टिकुलर इंश्योरेंस कंपनी विल बी हैंडलिंग इन द जनरल इंश्योरेंस सेगमेंट, द इंटायर लाइफ इंश्योरेंस इंडस्ट्री वुड नॉट हैव हैंडल इन कलेक्टिवली टुगेदर. This is reality. If you talk about frequencies, take motor insurance, almost 25% of the vehicles come back having a claim. You talk about health, almost 1 in 10 life, right, comes back to kind of claim in some of the other set of form. And we are seeing the elevated elevated natural set of catastrophe events coming through, and everyone seeing the challenge of what is kind of really happening in terms of claims coming through. So my only urge and request to all of you, as I would kind of really conclude my conversation right now, is please see that you have the relevant right governance framework in place in your setups, and you have the right ticks at the right place when it comes to kind of really ensuring that you are fully insured and fully covered by insurance. Again, the last bit of slide, ICICI Lombard, we control almost close to 8.5% market share. The largest private general insurance company. We want to still feel that we have just got a rebirth, right? We want to feel that we are at day zero and do everything what is to be done to ensure that we are able to work together for the upliftment of the industry at large. Some numbers in terms of how we are kind of doing in every set of product category, whether it's motor, whether it's health, fire, marine, engineering. We are significantly diversified. We're a multi-product, multi-channel insurance company, and we want to do everything what is there in our set of in our set of ecosystem, as well as the beliefs to ensure that we build out insurance in a large enough way in our set of country. Right? Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Mr. Singhi. While we do have a separate session exclusively with Dr. Parimal Merchant, may I request Dr. Merchant to please share a few words in this inaugural session. Please. Dr. Parimal Merchant, Director, Global Family Managed Business Program, SP Jain School of Global Management. Yes.
He just wants to make sure that you hear my voice, and I think that's done. Whatever I want to speak, I will speak all together during the session. It doesn't make point into breaking it. So I'll take it at that time. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Merchant. We will now continue with the felicitation round. May I request Shri Namit Bajoria, President MCCI, to kindly felicitate Shri Anand Singhi with a Uttariya and a memento, please. May I request President to kindly felicitate Dr. Parimal Merchant. May I request Shri Namit Bajoria to kindly felicitate Srimati Kasturi Sengupta, General Manager, National Insurance Company Limited. May I request President to kindly felicitate Shri Dulal Mitro, Chairman Ideal Insurance, with a memento, one of our speakers for this session today. May we have a group photograph, please, with all the speakers for the session, please. Just group photograph, please. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now move into the first technical session. We will move into the first technical session. I request Shri Rahul Agarwal, Shri Anand Singhi, Srimati Kasturi Sengupta, and Shri Dulal Mitro to please join on the dais. May I request Shri Rahul Agarwal to kindly moderate this session, please. Mike.
Hello. Yeah, so we're already running a little late, so we'll straight away come to the session. We have a very interesting panel. So we have Anand Bhai from representing private sector. We have Kasturi ma'am representing public sector, and we have Dulal sir who is representing everyone. He has worked with public sector, private sector, and now he's representing the intermediaries. So I'll have some interesting questions from them, but we'll keep the questions short, and then I will leave it to the audience. Right? They will have a lot of things that they want to ask the panel about their insurances, or the problems that they face as a consumer, and what can be done with that. Okay, so let's use their knowledge to upgrade our knowledge today. So we have a very interesting name for this session is minimum premium or maximum claim. Right? आप कोई भी कंज्यूमर के पास जाइए तो बोलेगा सबसे कम प्रीमियम और सबसे ज़्यादा क्लेम होना चाहिए. सो आई आस्क द पैनल टू प्लीज थ्रो लाइट ऑन दैट माइंडसेट इन द कंट्री कि मिनिमम प्रीमियम और मैक्सिमम क्लेम. आई वुड request Dulal sir to answer that, and then anyone can add in that.
Thanks, Rahul. That's a very interesting question. Good evening to all of you, and thanks, Chamber, for inviting for today's session. Minimum premium and the maximum claim, that's the question. It's a wonderful question, and for the last 40 years I've been working in the insurance sector, in private sector, public sector, and now in this broking fraternity which represent the client side. This question has been there. So what is minimum premium? That I still unable to understand at this point in time also. But there are certain formula. While I was coming to this place, I just met the actuary of ICICI. So that's he is the person who fixes up what should be the appropriate premium. So though Anand has covered almost everything, so far the current scenario of insurance is concerned, so far the rating is concerned, so far the coverage is concerned, but let's understand what is minimum premium. I'll break the whole question into two parts. One is the minimum premium, and second is the maximum claim. So let's talk about how the premiums are being fixed. So each of the insurance company put in capital for business. It's a capital-based industry. So they're putting in capital, and then also to maintain the solvency ratio, at least 1.5% solvency ratio. That's the 150. So the minimum premium is to be fixed based on certain criteria. Some of them are, one, the exposure of the risk, the kind of risk, the classification of the risk, and of course, a lot of...
So, sir, I'm sorry, I'll cut you here, but I would want you to speak more on the mindset, right? That people don't want to pay premium, but when a claim comes, they want all the claims, right? When they are paying, they would cut down, कि आप ये cover हटा दो, or there are 4 quotes and you always go for the minimum, right? So, if you can speak more on that, and what is the right way to take an insurance, right? Rather than getting it on the technical side.
So just give two examples of the large losses that has happened. In our earlier days, we have seen one large claim happened and the company went bankrupt. In fact, the company went to liquidation, in fact. So what has happened during those days? There was selection of risk happened. There were internal resources who said about that in the Chennai and around that area, those days I'm talking about 78, 79, 40, even 45 years before, there was no flood happened in the last 35 years. So there was some expert who said that please exclude the STFI risk. Those days it was a flood risk. So flood risk was excluded, and unfortunately, under the recommendation of that person, of course the top management has agreed to that, and the flood was excluded, and for that there was some saving of premium. So minimum premium was charged, excluding the flood. Unfortunately, that year the massive flood comes in. So there is a complete erosion of the factory. The factory was under the water for more than 2 months. The production got stopped, and there is a business interruption, and there was no insurance for that. So the balance sheet got affected. I'll not name, it is one of the largest textile company at that point in time. And so minimum premium doesn't mean that we exclude the risk. Minimum premium means that we should include all the coverage. The coverage that the risk is exposed, the coverage, we do a complete study of the risk exposure of the particular business, and then take a complete coverage without the exclusion. With the de-tariffing coming now, so one question is coming in price. So price was already de-tariffed from 2007 onwards. So there is a war of price happened for the first 2 years. Discount went as much as 90%. Then then the promoter felt that the insurance company, GI Council felt that there should be some minimum benchmarking of the rates. So NatCat rates were frozen, some kind of rate fixation was happened. Then again the fire risk was also frozen, some minimum rate. And now we are seeing that those kind of scenario has gone. So 2024 onwards, from 1st April, the rates are completely de-tariff for the commercial line business I'm talking about, and also the product. Now if there is a free wording, then we can choose the wording, we can select the wording, we can do so many kind of addition, deletion, etc., in the policy. So it's a very risky to go for a minimum premium without seeing what is the coverage. So ultimately the claim is the product of coverage, the claim is the byproduct of the policy. So it's extremely important for all of us to see and ensure that the product is proper, and it's been weighted by expert, particularly on the commercial line business, which is fire policy or any other property policy I'm talking about, so that at the time of claim we do not face the issues of higher deductible, exclusions, and so many plus.
Thank you. If any one of you want to add on that.
I think I spoke about it fairly well in my slides. So I'll only recommend that we should think about the right set of protection, and then obviously you get the right set of premium for the right set of protection, right? Because as Dulalda has categorically mentioned about, we can be smart, we can figure out ways in which we can reduce the premium, but we should not ever do it at the cost of minimizing the risk exposures. We should attempt to ensure that whatever risk is there, we have first ensured that हमने उसको पूरी तरीके से can out करके उसको पूरा protect कर लिया. Once that is completely protected, then obviously there is a large enough market to really price it at the rightmost price point. That's the only suggestion.
Absolutely. So I can vouch on that yes, we blame the insurers many times, but if the coverages are proper, even the insurers cannot reject the claim. Okay, so I mean, we as a business owner, it's our responsibility to make sure that we take adequate coverage and not try to save some premium. So ma'am, I have a question for you now regarding, we all know that IRDA is really working hard to make this industry 10x in the next 20 years, right? So what is your thought on that? How will it be done? How it will affect the consumers? Okay, and what should consumers do on that again? So
that's a very interesting question, because right now, since I'm the GM Health also, I look after the health portfolio also. So a lot of new things are coming in, and this is a right forum since you have people from across the industry. I mean all the stakeholders. So you have the insurer, you have the intermediaries. So the most important thing that IRD is now doing, number one is 100% cashless. That is, any hospital you go, whether it is in the PPN network or whether it is in the TPA network. I think all of you are very accustomed with these names. PPN, what it means, that is the network of the hospitals we have, where they have got a standardized rates of all the packages of all the procedures. And there is also a TPA network, that is the TPAs, they have the understanding and the MOU with the hospitals that they will give certain packages at a certain rate. So for the ailments, so there are almost about 146 to 200 packages they are defined, for example, like heart, eye operation, etc., etc. So that TPA network as well as PPN network, that is with the PSUs that they do with the hospitals. I think the private companies also you have sort of a network, whatever. So now those, apart from this hospital, any hospital you can walk into and you can get a cashless. So there are strict guidelines that has been given to the hospital. So this is the knowledge that I wanted to share with you. This is a very important thing that many of the hospitals insist when you get admitted that you have to give a certain advance. Without that, no, they will not start the treatment. So that is gone now from 1st of January, rather it is from 24th of January that this 100% cashless has started. Number 2 point is that no, for the senior citizens now compulsorily we have to do a helpline. 24/7 a helpline is there and a dedicated phone number is there. So for health, for any other business, no, for any other grievances or anywhere you feel that the claim is not getting paid in time, that dedicated helpline for the senior citizens, that is in vogue. The third important thing that IRDA has done, which again all of you should know, from 1st of April, Ayush. Ayush is, apart from allopathy, the other pathies, that is the Ayurvedic, the yoga, naturopathy, homeopathy and Siddha. These 5 things will automatically get covered within the policy. Now each company has been asked, I think ICICI also you're looking into it, to include these coverages into the health coverage that is being given. So what is the importance? Many of the people, suppose somebody you have taken some treatment for allopathy, now you want to switch over to yoga or you want to switch over to naturopathy. It happens, especially for the orthopedic treatments and all. So those things, shifting from one pathy to another will now be allowed. And somebody exclusively wants to do a treatment under homeopathy in a homeopathy hospital or Ayurveda under Ayurvedic hospital, all this will be covered under the normal Mediclaim policy that you have. Lastly, they have now IRDA, through the help of the GI Council, they have started a platform called the NHCX, that is a National Claim Exchange. Now how it will help? Because this platform integrates the insurer with the individual client, with the hospital, with the TPAs, everybody. So now there is one platform where all the health claims will go and it will be processed from there. So think of the data repository that we'll have, think of the speed that it is going to have. So the NHCX, that integration, that API integration is almost over. So we are going to start very soon, maybe not this year, maybe from the next year, April. So that is also all. I think the grievance redressal also will be much, much faster. So it is also going to open a new gamut as far as the health claims settlements are concerned.
In fact, also to add, now IRDA is pushing to create regulation where now most of us have a problem where our parents are not able to get insurance, right? So now IRDA is making insuring that everyone even above 65 years age should be able to get health insurance.
Yes,
so yes, a lot of wonderful initiatives by IRDA which will really help the consumers a lot. Now ma'am, while yes, I agree that a great lot of effort has been made in health claims and even in motor claims, but the bigger problem here is problem with commercial claims. Okay, fire, engineering, people in businesses. So I would like to ask the audience, how many of you have faced problem getting a claim? Okay, so
Sir, if you can share, I mean, what sort of a...
No, so yeah, so there's still a lot to be done. So why is, I mean, I as an intermediary, I can also add here that yes, insurance, be it surveyors or insurance company, they keep on asking a lot of documents. 6 महीना साल भर तक वो घूमते रहते हैं. So why are we not doing anything on that, right? Or how can that be improved, right? Because for businesses that's a huge problem.
Yes, he really has a point, and I will admit in the open forum that there is a lot of difference between the private and the PSUs, the way they see the claim, the way they handle. So it's an open, known thing. Now the thing is that we have the Policyholders Protection that Act that is given by the IRDA, where it specifically says that the moment the claim is intimated, the surveyor is going to be appointed within 24 hours, and then the surveyor, he has to report back within 7 days. So all these are given in the guidelines. But very, very unfortunate that many of the companies, they do not adhere to this. That is where the first note of dissent happens, because as Anandji were telling, this is an economic loss. So when a person suffers, that sort of an economic loss, that he has invested so much through the claim, lot of the investment is lost, his revenue earning is also not there. So immediately he expects that that address of the claims will be there. So really all of us, we need to attune to this, and I hope that with the digital claim processing and other things coming in, definitely there will be an improvement. And the right mindset change also is required, which I admit.
But what can so what can consumers do about that, right? I mean, we have been hearing, but there's still a long way to go. So what can consumers do if someone's claim is stuck, or now surveyors also, they're supposed to be neutral, but we all know they act more on the insurance company's behalf.
So Rahul, I'll like to kind of dissect the question and kind of possibly split into two set of parts. Is number one, how many of you kind of end up seeing a claim more in the MSME space? Only a data point which I can share is that more and more number of people on relative basis has started to see claims in the last few set of years, and that is predominantly being attributed to the climate change which we are all foreseeing. The number of catastrophe events which have happened in the last 2-3 years are far, far more than the past set of history, right? So hence, it's important that now, given the frequency at which claims are getting intimated or the claims are happening, it's important for all of us to ensure that the governance in terms of designing the policy structure is right at the point. Most of the times, in my bit of experience, which I've seen through most of the times, these claims get delayed because there is an element of underinsurance, significant underinsurance which is identified, A. B, we really realize that a lot of covers have been excluded by some or the other ways. If we see in a scenario where the claim is ascertained, where the policy document kind of really signifies that yes, the right amount of insurance has been taken, the declarations are right till the point in time, then generally the claims start to get settled very, very fast. So the more we will migrate and move towards a scenario where there will be more transparency at the policy issuance stage, I think we'll have lesser challenges at the claim stage. The more smarter, or the more kind of maneuvering we'll do at the policy structuring stage, that okay, like to back to your point in terms of minimum premium and maximum claims, the larger the challenges which we see at the claims sort of thing. In context to the industry, there are players, right? There are many players and there are players, but it's also important to really do your bit of assessment to choose the right set of players who have had the history, and there are past precedences which can be found in the market where people are proactive, specifically in the commercial line space of policy and claims management, and that's the advice which I'll have to the group. That first and foremost, if we ensure that we are buying the right protection and we are buying the right set of coverages, there is very minimal set of chances that we'll have challenges during the claim stage if, God forbid, a claim would have had to happen. In case if we try to get a little over smart out there in terms of designing the policy construct or kind of really seeing what are the coverage we want to have, exclude, etc., then I think there are challenges which start to get associated out there. So my bit of suggestion is, I think we should work as an entire ecosystem. We should work collectively to see that the policy design in totality is best in class. And if there are inferences which we can draw out there and kind of really suggest back to the clients or a end set of consumers that okay, here are a set of elements which you should cover for sure. And if you have it covered, then for a matter of fact, the claims will be at significant ease.
So while theoretically I agree, but I still feel the insurers need to change a little mindset on.
The other side, you give me just 1 minute. I would just like to share my own experience.
Please.
See, when this Amphan happened, this, we were given a mandate by the government that you try to finish the, try to process the claims within 3 days. As it happens in the case of all catastrophe, the DFS, they take their particular interest and they say, daily basis they do. So that time I was heading one of the offices in Calcutta, one of the regions in Calcutta. So I had told my team that, see, 3 days is the maximum time by which, you should come, the processing sheet should be over. So just on a lighter side, I would like to share the experience that how I could not process one claim within 3 days. This was a poultry that was insured, and during the Amphan, the birds died because of the ingression of the water and all. So the person claimed 1,000 birds have died. So the surveyor went, immediately I said that you go somewhere in the interior, that Sundarban side. So he went and he bought the photographs. The birds were all in the cage, naturally, they were all kept in the cage. So he bought the photographs of 500. So I said, what happens to the balance 9,500? So the person was saying that all were eaten by the dogs. So then the first question, I personally went and I talked to because I travel a lot. So I asked the person that for 9,500 birds to be eaten, small chicks and all, you need at least, if per dog it's 2-3 birds, you at least need 2,000 to 5,000 dogs. Now the dogs also have been, either they have died or they have been washed away in Amphan. So where do you get? So the person, he could not communicate that much also, he was silent. Nahi, kisi ne bola hai. So this is what also happened. So this particular claim I could not settle within 3 days, So such things also happen on the lighter side.
But on that note, I must congratulate the insurance industry as a whole, because I know during Amphan's time how the insurance companies had gone out of the way to help people. Now to add to that, since there are a lot of intermediaries and a lot of business owners, it's a very pertinent question that what do you think is the role of an intermediary in a claim? And now you have a lot of direct business, you have business through intermediaries, right? So what is your take on that? That are intermediaries adding value, or what they can do more, or what the client should do? Now West is a completely intermediary dominated market, but India still a lot of direct business happens. Okay, so if you can throw some light on that.
So let me put it this way around. I think the onus is for the entire ecosystem, rather than believing whether intermediation is the right approach, direct client management is the right approach, digital enablement is the right approach. I think what is extremely important is that we have the framework which is decided to ensure that when the consumer is buying the policy, is buying the right policy. And that's the larger collaboration which has to happen in the larger ecosystem, so as to say that all of us own this as a core set of responsibility, that the policy which the customer is buying, he is buying the right policy. Now there are multiple set of scenarios where we know that there are people who would kind of try to maneuver around it so as to kind of win the particular set of deal and so on and so forth. One of the important change which is happening in the regulation, it has started with health insurance, where a CIS sheet has become mandatory, a consumer information sheet, where all the necessary inclusions or exclusions are right there in your face, right? So it's mentioned in the policy that this is included and this is excluded. Very soon, we expect this set of change to come across all set of product categories. So that's one large kind of really pro-consumer change which is coming through. In addition to that, obviously insurers and insurance intermediaries have played a very, very pivotal role in kind of seeing that the insurance industry grows significantly leaps and bounds. The entire aspect what is expected out of the insurance intermediary ecosystem is ensure that while you are having the communication with your set of customers, you are able to guide them in the truest sense that this is how you are able to design the policy, this is what the coverage which you should select for. In my personal set of opinion, if we are right at that point, 99.99%, right, we will not have any challenges at the claim stage. The moment we are not so right at that particular point in time, then obviously you have kind of aspects which people look into it. Having said that, we have also had experiences where the distribution ecosystem, I think there is a lot of investment which the brokers, the agents in the market, they're doing on having claims specialists in their team, so that in case if there is a claim, they're able to kind of anchor the responsibility, co-own the responsibility to ensure that there is enough and more amount of right amount of coordination between the customer and the insurance company. And we are seeing that more and more happening, and it's actually very, very good for the entire industry.
So one common point which is coming again and again is that consumers should focus a lot on the covers. right? So it's, of course, people don't spend so much of time while buying the policy. They may only compare the premiums, but getting the right cover, discussing with the intermediary on what is covered, what is not covered, to have clarity is a very, very key factor for everyone. So Dulal sir, one question for you is, now you have worked 40 years, more than 40 years in the insurance companies, right? United India, Bajaj, and then Reliance, and last leg a few years with insurance broker. So what is your take on both the sides? Okay.
Yeah, I think Anand has already covered large part.
And on specifically focusing on claims.
So I think claim has been a problem when now earlier days, when even the retail claim was a problem. So it was all the manual kind of system going on. So our days we used to have a physical intimation of a claim to the insurance company by way of a letter goes, and then we depute some surveyor, or if there is a health claim. There are hardly any policies of health also, only 3-4 types of policies were there. Then we used to get a physical documentation of the claims, whatever the expenses, etc., etc. Even in motor claim also, the physical document used to sent into the insurance company, and then the physical manual processes used to take place. So it used to take its usual time. But what we see over the period of time, that there is a huge development has happened in retail health and motor OD claims. There is a huge development has happened, and on the digital platform coming in, and all the system and processes is improved by the insurance company. Those area of policies, insurances, and the claims have been largely streamlined. So we have seen in case of health, 100% cashless has already been done. A lot of new initiative has already been taken for streamlining the processes of the health claim, and also the motor claim, where also the cashless garages has been done. Even in commercial motor claim also, there is a cashless has been done. So over the period of time, the retail side of the claim has been improved quite a lot. Thanks to the digital processes that has been improved upon the IoT and all those kind of system. But in case of commercial line of business, which is primarily a fire business, engineering business, etc., etc., still there are a lot of problems going on. So we see that commercial line policies are a little complex in nature. We have a lot of exclusions happening sometimes. Some additional clauses are there, some deductibles are there, and some additional kind of complex wordings have been put in sometime. We saw that. So I agree 100% with Anand saying that it's very, very important for the fire business and other commercial line of business that we discuss as much on the coverage before inception of the risk. So 80-90% of the issues go before that. So it's extremely important that we choose a right coverage based on the risk management, based on the exposure that we do have. So majorly the problem goes out. But in case of commercial claims, it's my personal opinion that it has to be still to be weighted by independent surveyor. So the first process
who are normally not independent and who are controlled by the insurance companies.
As per the regulator, a claim above 1 lakh of rupees has to be surveyed. So that's the current process. So what